NerdzGotWordz Universe. What's good?
What's good?
It's your
What it do?
It's your boys here. Well, you know who we are. And you know what we're talking about today, obviously.
Yeah.
Talking about Arachnid Kid? That was the movie?
Yeah, Arachnid Kid, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Some Bollywood film that we found out about.
It was really weird, because I know who Spider-Man is, but who the fuck was that Peter Parker guy?
I don't know who he is.
Idea, bro.
What was the point of him being in the movie? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys.
We need Spider-Man, not Peter Parker.
Ooh.
Anyways, guys. Obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home. The long-anticipated movie.
2 years wait.
We've been waiting for it. We've
That
been
was
waiting
stressful.
for...
Yes, we have.
Let's see. We got the Spideyverse where it was like kind of... Because, everyone's like, oh, a team-up. But then the Spideyverse came and it was like, emphasized, a live-action version. A team-up.
Mm-hmm.
Toby. They wanted Toby. Andrew. And it's the return. It's the return of Toby Spider-Man. Andrew's Amazing Spider-Man. To the big screen for like a multiversal clash with Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yup.
Exactly.
And it also brought in some of Spider-Man's more known iconic foes.
The originals.
And yes, and it brought in the
cinema.
original actors for each
The
of those.
OGs, ladies and gentlemen. The OGs.
Now, the hype of this are like enraged Star Wars fans. Okay, the hype was just through the roof.
Let me just put it to you guys in perspective. This was the most anticipated Marvel movie since Endgame.
Honestly.
Since Endgame!
Yeah.
And the funny part is, after Endgame, we got the second Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's just, this whole podcast is just bringing up the question.
Mm-hmm.
Did this movie hold a candle to its, the fans' expectations? Or did Sony and Marvel, miss the mark and extinguish the flame on this incredibly desired film? Let's talk about it.
Hell no.
And yes, I threw in some other on the Poacher God. Do you like that? Extinguish the... Anyways, moving on. Pre-ratings, buy it. We're moving on. We all know it was buy-worthy.
Wait, hang on. Before we get this started, we need to turn this on.
Yeah,
this guy on.
I thought you said it'd be on your end. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Bot's online, boys. And girl, everybody. So, but let's really, we'll start with you, Adrian. What were your pre-ratings? Like, what did you want out of this film?
I wanted what everyone wanted to Andrew say if he was in this movie. He kept saying no. I almost believed him because I was like, you know what? You're probably right. You don't have nothing to do with this movie.
I mean, this movie was honestly Marvel and Sony's pain in the butt to get to work.
And they didn't want to show anything about it.
Spider-Bot turned off.
It
It went night-night.
I mean, Toby didn't even want anything to do with it.
I feel like Toby's honestly tired as
He's
tired
to
as an actor. He doesn't give a shit.
They had to rip his arm off to make him join. I feel like at the end of the day, I think he is sort of glad that he joined.
I'm pretty sure.
There's no way he didn't
even
get
Tom
his enjoyment
said
out
he
of
was
it.
like, "Oh, I'm very happy that I was able to work with Andrew and Toby," and I was like, "Oh, Toby looked like he like." Have you seen those videos of when they were like checking out to the airport and how they recorded Tom Holland?
Oh yeah, Toby was like,
and then Toby he just kept looking back. He's like. He just honestly kept looking, and I was like, "Damn, this guy's just really tired of."
Tom's just like,
just being an actor. And yeah, exactly.
I think Tom forgets he's an actor sometimes.
He probably does. It's just great.
Andrew's just like, "Sup?"
Yeah.
And Toby's
just like, why the fuck am I here?
Toby's like, why are you filming me? But yeah, so the one thing about this movie was I knew Toby and Andrew were going to be in it. The trailer showed a few other villains, but it didn't show the plot, like what was going to happen. It didn't show any of that stuff. So
but at the same time, they only showed like what? 2 trailers? 2 full trailers? That's it?
Yeah.
And it took them forever. It literally took them 3 months before the movie came out to show the first trailer for that movie.
This movie didn't need a trailer.
No.
Everyone, even their grandma, was
no, but
going to
the
see
thing
it
is,
anyway.
if you look back at those trailers, a lot of the same scenes did not happen. Like, they were obviously done differently.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, for those of you that might have noticed, I'm getting over a cold, so just leave me alone. Anyways, so yeah, what would you rate it, Adrian?
Oh my god!
Because you're the type of guy that doesn't want to go in there with too high or too low.
I'm
of
always that
expectations.
guy. And I was like,
you're like that.
Because
neutral.
I still went. I was like, oh, they're not gonna pop out. Like there's no way Andrew and Tobey Maguire were in this film.
Yeah.
And I went with those expectations. I was like, all right, my expectations are low.
You were just in the first stage.
Yeah,
you were in denial.
In denial. Well, what was MJ's line? expect disappointment to not be disappointed. Or something?
Yeah, something like
that.
that.
Was me.
That was me.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was just going to be enough. To me, I'm always down for any Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
So my expectations were still pretty high. It was like it's honestly first there buy-worthy for me because it is Spider-Man. And that's
Pre-rating, Adrian just slap it on the buy-worthy.
of course, any Spider-Man film is buy-worthy.
I mean,
except Spider-Man 3, we don't talk much about.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't talk about Spider-Man 3.
Wait, there was a third one? I didn't know that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? But for me, I think the only way you can go in, like the lowest possible explanation, is as an I'd see it again. And I'd honestly give it an I'd see it again.
I've seen it too many times already. Not enough actually.
Now, the whole thing of like, why would you buy it when it's on Disney Plus? Okay, but you know, it's not going to be.
It's not going to
It's
be.
not going to be because Sony.
Unless Disney buys off Sony before that movie comes out.
I would love Disney to buy Sony.
They've actually started showing how the Blu-ray and DVD covers already look like for Spider-Man. No
Yeah, and you already, and also like, you know, Adrian's like a case guy. Like the
Yeah,
box,
but
you
to
know,
be honest,
that's gonna
but
look
to be
cool,
honest,
man.
I know it did not look that good.
It didn't look that good?
It didn't look that good.
Really?
I have to look for it. But it did not look that good.
Oh man.
Huh?
Well, yeah, I'd give it an I'd see
Well,
it again.
you've seen their posters.
Oh, it was just the poster with the tentacles behind him. Like
no,
that
it's
thing?
not like that.
Or him with the pose is like,
That's what the Blu-ray one looks like. I
Mm.
think him with the pose.
I kind of look like it too. Like, with the man.
Yeah, I'd put it as an I'd see it again.
No, most definitely.
I mean, I would easily put buy worthy, even just off the pre-rating. But I'm gonna try and go in as like an I'd see it again. What are you ranking it? Buy worthy, just based off the damn goggles.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Mysterious. Let me take you back in time, boys. Let me take you back in time real
Oh
quick.
God.
It's the end of No Way or Far From Home.
the Holmes.
You're looking
He's
at
moving
the
around
end
a
credit scene. J. Jonah Jameson comes up.
Thank God, I love J. Jonah
Thank
Jameson.
God he's back. But
I just hated him so much though in that movie. 'cause he was
I
such a
did too,
dick.
but
That makes his character
that's
perfect.
besides the point. Then the leaked footage from London comes out, and he said Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He's just like, and then black.
And that's how 2 ended.
That was like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next movie.
Yeah.
And
Immediate buy-worthy, stamp it, Nick seal of approval.
There it is. There it is. Buy worthy.
And then we just had to wait 2 years for it.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to wait.
It
2
really
years.
was 2 years. That's crazy.
My eyes went out again.
Now, you know, like most movies, we like to do a character breakdown, but there's no need. All the characters knocked it out of the park. And why? Because they played those characters before. And it really shows how good they are at those characters that they come back,
I did like Electro
many,
a lot
many
better.
years later, and they still do it good. And one thing to note is DC, like, get your shit together, because you guys have gone through almost seven Batmans now. We're gonna get another one. We're probably gonna get another one after that.
Yeah.
So, and it's just,
Or a continuation after that one.
I mean, it's just, especially like Doc Ock and like Green Goblin, like they just did those characters so well. And you know, there's so many pros to this movie, but nothing's perfect. There are a few
There are a
issues.
few flaws.
And the one thing I want to bring up is that Ned can suddenly use magic. Now,
I'm magic now.
Now I looked back.
it's like, I have magic now. It's like, no way.
I looked back.
No, miss.
I looked back and I tried to say maybe he said it in one of the other movies, but he really didn't. So, Marvel, in our current movie timeline, MCU, they kind of pulled it out of their ass. However, there is a comic book version comic with Ned Lead, who does have magic. Now, in the comic books,
Oh, that looks pretty cool still.
I don't like it that much, to be honest.
they could have done
They
better.
could have done better.
Wait, hang on. Let me get a better look at it.
Now, there's a guy named Ned Lead in the comic books, and he's known by I can't even talk. He becomes the character villain Hobgoblin.
You're kind of right. You know?
And Hobgoblin is a villain that sort of replaces Green Goblin. However, he can use magic. And in the comics, his name is Ned Lead, which is Hobgoblin. Yeah. So, and Hobgoblin, he can use magic. He's influenced by Dormammu, which is why he's evil. And so that's comic nerd explanation of why Ned could have magic. Because in the comics, he does have magic. He becomes Hobgoblin, a villain. Blah 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 blah. However, that does not explain why MCU Ned can use magic. I just think it's an act of convenience.
Honestly, it really was.
Now, I know we're already nerding out. Spoiler alert, sorry.
Major spoiler warning right now, because everybody and their mother is going to want to see this movie. And if you don't, what are you doing?
Yeah,
honestly.
Bring your... I know you're...
Theaters could probably still be selling out on their tickets. You never know.
Yeah.
True.
Even the last time I saw it, the theater was still packed. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
I went today, and it was still packed.
There you go.
But either way, spoiler warning right now. Please.
We already told
I'm overemphasizing this. Please.
You should have said that in the beginning.
Click on.
I know, I already nerded out, but we've already spoiled it. Sucks for you.
Oh, well.
Moving on. So, Ned became magical out of convenience. Now, I don't know, because of how the movie ended, where, they forgot everything, I assume he would forgot that he learned magic.
I think so.
Now, whether Doctor Strange will pursue that is who knows. Because I'm pretty sure he still knows. It's just who knows. As of right now, as of this movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, it's just an act of convenience to make stuff happen. It was not set up, and it was weird that Marvel kind of did that.
Yeah,
but maybe it's set up for something in the future.
But at the same time, I can also see a reality of where he just completely forgot because Ned was associated to Peter Parker.
Exactly.
And they forgot who Peter was.
And that's why all the
adventures.
That's why it's such a bigger issue for that to even be in the film. Obviously, okay, it makes sense that he can use magic, that he did something because he had the sling ring.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, you have to... I guess that displays you have to be magically inclined to do so in general. It's not just anybody can learn magic, which is good.
And even then, he said he had the tingly thing when he has it, in his hands or something like that. And he's like, you should talk to your physician.
That too.
Right, and, but...
Go ahead, Ned. Prove him wrong.
But at the end of the day, it's just convenient. What do you think about it, Adrian?
It was just convenient.
Could they have done something else?
I don't think so.
How else could they have...
It was just to help out. Because obviously in the end, how did they end up finding the other Peter Parkers? Because of Ned.
Yeah.
How did they get to their one spot that they need to get to? Because of Ned.
Yeah. Yeah, and also...
How did he have more screen time for him and MJ to be in the main final fight? Because of Ned.
Because of Ned, yeah.
Yeah, and the cape saved him. So it's not just a one-shot, he can only, the tingles, whatever, just that one moment,
Yeah.
He could become a magician.
Yeah.
Or a wizard, in Tony Stark's words.
Yeah, when he gets saved, he's like, "Thank you, Mr. Cape, sir."
Yeah, so it's...
But hopefully we do see more of him. I want to see more of him.
I would like to see...
I love Ned as a
character.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I would like to see that magic route more.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, so as of right now, that's a slight con for me. I don't care too much, but, Marvel is so good at building up stuff. This just came out of left field.
Yeah.
And it's not that I didn't like it. It was just a little convenient for why the film worked. It was just there. Another thing that I was curious about is, should Doctor Strange have had more screen time? And if he did, would they have to put his name on the title of the movie?
I don't think... Yeah, that's the thing.
What do you think about that, Adrian?
He had the perfect amount of screen time into that film. He was there at the beginning.
I mean,
he obviously had a little part. He had a little part in the middle, and then obviously had his final part at the end. Because in the end, the whole issue that caused this whole problem was magic. So obviously he had to be there for that issue.
Yes, and it also set up his own movie.
Exactly.
which we now know at the end credit scene. But yeah, do you think Doctor Strange was good enough?
Yeah, I think he did. He had the perfect amount of screen time for me. I agree with Adrian. Because if you think about it for a second, this is a Spider-Man movie essentially. Right. So like,
it's not a team up. Well, I mean, it's a team up. But
it's a team up, but without
with himself. It's like me, myself, and I team up.
Yeah. But this essentially what it comes down to is that it is a Spider-Man movie. Yeah. And like, yes, magic was involved in it, so Doctor Strange obviously had to intervene whenever he did. But still, like, I think that he had the perfect amount of screen time for this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I also think, like, when you think about it, he was like the initial solution. You know, like, catch them all with the magic zappy zap, and then hit the oh shit button, and then fix everything.
Spidey just doesn't want to stay up today.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll get him to work eventually. But yeah, like, he was like the initial planner, because let's be honest, like, if there's one thing this movie showed is that Tom Holland is still like, you know, a teenager at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's just a kid.
He's not
Peter Parker, not Tom Holland.
Sorry, Peter Parker. Wait, who's that? No. At the end of the day, Spider-Man, like Peter Parker, Spider-Man, he's still a teenager. Like, he's just about to start his first semester of college, or it was. Who knows what's going on with that now? Yeah. He's not
trying to survive New York as a normal human being.
Yeah, he's not a leader, and this movie was essentially his grow up movie.
Yeah.
Just like Venom 2 was Venom becoming an anti-hero, like distinguishing his role. This movie was about Spider-Man growing up.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you're going to talk about Aunt May later on or not.
She fucking did.
If are we?
Sadly.
Because I'll save it for that time.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah, fuck it. I think
Aunt Bay is dead.
Aunt Bay is dead.
Aunt Bay is dead, boys.
Aunt Bay is dead.
I couldn't be more sadder about that part. And it was one of the most emotional scenes in that movie.
Let's be honest.
Second most emotional scene in the movie. At the end, when they're about to forget about him.
I mean,
but everyone tends to forget.
Guys, let's be honest. let's all be honest here. We knew she was going to be the one to die. They would not kill MJ.
I honestly thought it was going to be Happy, not Mary Jane. I mean,
they're not going to kill Ned.
Mary Jane's probably dead in another universe. But on May, I didn't think she was going to die, to be honest.
Really? The
fact that she died.
They better not have killed Happy.
I honestly thought Happy would die, to be honest. But the thing is that, you know how every other Peter lost, like, their uncle?
Yeah.
Or if they lost their Gwen or something.
I know where you're going with this.
So I guess, is Tom Holland's, like, Uncle Ben his Aunt May?
Yeah.
So does that mean was there never an Uncle Ben to begin with?
Well, yeah, she said Uncle Ben's line.
Yeah, if
with
you
great power comes great responsibility.
But she could have been the one that made that line, not Uncle Ben. Because it kind of seems like there was never an Uncle Ben now.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben was happy.
Uncle Ben was happy, yeah. Holy shit.
They never mention him, like, in all three movies. Nothing. Yeah. Or even in Civil War when you have that one scene when you first meet him.
Yeah. Like, you never see, like, anybody that she's dating besides Happy.
Yeah, that's it. So that's what it makes me wonder. I was like, was there never anyone else? Was it just them the whole time after whatever? Peter's back.
Yeah. She don't need no man. No, I'm just
honestly,
kidding.
You're probably right.
And even then, what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man essentially is that he needs that one key loss in order for him to grow up.
Now, this is gonna be funny. Like, to be honest, thinking about this. Spider-Man is essentially a Disney princess. What happens in almost every Disney princess or a Disney movie? One of the parents dies. For character development.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
And, like, the majority of them.
Mulan's parents didn't die. Rapunzel's parents didn't die. Ariel's mom died.
Ariel's mom died.
No one talks about Ariel.
Bad example.
Worst princess ever. Anyway.
No, but like that's like a Disney type.
Although, if you think about it, though, she is the worst princess ever.
I know she's the worst princess ever. That's what.
No, in Moana, didn't the grandma die?
grandma, but not
That doesn't matter.
parents.
That's still
parents.
a parental figure.
But not the parents, though.
But I don't think Moana's mom was even there.
Yeah, she
There.
was.
Oh, I don't fucking remember that bitch. Anyways, like that's it's a Disney move. Marvel did a Disney move. Someone important, like parentalish type figure had to die for him to grow, for him to move. He went into range mode.
That's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know. I have no problem with that. It's just funny to think about when you compare it to a Disney movie.
Plus,
Someone needs to die for development.
Plus, it kind of helps for the other two, for Toby and Andrew to be there in that scene immediately after she died.
And then he tells him
to kind of guide him.
Yeah, he's the
and then they
brother.
tell him like, this is what happened when this certain thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, see, one Spider-Man went rageful and the other one just went depressed.
Yeah.
Andrew's like, Mike went. Toby's like, well, a lot of people died. But yeah, like, they were essentially there for just develop. But yeah, Doctor Strange,
Because he did
perfect amount of time.
Yeah, they didn't really want to have Tom's version of Spider-Man go down that dark path that they did, essentially.
Well, that's literally what this movie was, just character development.
Yeah.
It was his final character development to get him to now be that actual Spider-Man. Because obviously, the first 3 movies of Spider-Man and even Civil War, it was Marvel's version of their Spider-Man. Like, him still being kid Spider-Man. He can't even say he was Spider-Man. He was like Spider-Kid the whole time with all these other movies. But at the end of this movie, he literally takes the actual real title of Spider-Man. Because now he has gone through loss. He, not just because of his Aunt May, he lost Tony.
Yeah.
And now every other hero is basically going away. Now he has to like figure out. And I was like, yo, I'm like one of the last few superheroes still alive.
Happy forgot him too.
Happy forgot him. That's what even sucks more. And basically now he's on his own. No one knows his identity. He's literally going through like
he literally
the very
had to
beginning
drop
again.
out of high school to fend for himself.
Maybe he finished. I don't know.
Oh no! He in one of the boxes he had a GED.
Oh, you're
test
right.
with it,
Okay,
yeah.
no, you're right. Because I saw that and I was like, GED. And I was like, bitch, you're smart as fuck. Why do you
Yeah.
need that? But yeah, okay, no, you're right. He dropped out of high school just to feed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a.
I hope in the animated show or in the next movie we see him working for the Telefuga. That would be great.
I think that's what might happen. Like, yeah, like Aunt May's loss was like what triggered a lot of things, and if they weren't there, he probably would have killed Green Goblin. Like, let's be honest.
He would.
He wouldn't have, but at the same time, no, I don't think he would have because he would just push the button because he was like, I'm done here. Roll credits.
Well, let's get into that, like the plot. So, like, yeah, with Doctor Strange messing up the spell due to like
Peter's
but
nagging.
that really shows like that he's not an adult yet, because
he wanted the easy way out.
He wanted the easy way out.
He didn't think about talking to MIT and was like, you can do that? I was like,
Well,
oh my god.
I mean, but he also he wanted the easy way out, but he wanted he wanted to add to it, like, oh, don't forget this person, don't forget that person. Like, he wanted all these conditions.
Did you see that?
And he kept changing the spell to the point where it messed up and what caused all of this.
Honestly, he could have just been like, I don't know if you saw the meme when the first trailer came out. He's like, I need to tell everyone, all my friends. And I was like, what happened to them? Just tell them again. And then the credits just like,
Just tell him again.
just tell them again.
Yeah, and then the plot changed into, okay, we're not going to send them back. I want to fix them. And, as an adult, we've got our own damn problems, okay? I'd hit the button, see you later. Like, would you have tried to help them? Like, what do you guys think of, like, the whole plot of him trying to cure
He's like,
them?
not my universe, not my problem.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you think about it, he mainly did it because Aunt May told him to.
Yeah.
I mean, he thought about it, but Aunt May was like, no, like, that's not you. You got to do it. And
You're helpful.
She ended up paying for it. She ended up paying for it.
Yeah.
But in the end, she ended up dying. Telling her, was like, you still did the right thing.
Yeah. But, like, what'd you guys think about, like, that whole plot of him trying to save them? Like, if you were in that situation, would you have saved them?
Oof.
And
I'll be like, I have my own universe problems. Guys. I'm sorry.
right, and then also another difference is that, like, the other Spider-Mans are, like, alone. Like,
Literally,
Tom Holland's Spider-Man has has like it's kind of like a support system. And yes, at the
Tony
film,
Stark technology.
yeah. I mean, now he's on his own, right?
Now he's on his own.
But before he had these people, like he had people to help him cure, the people.
Right.
Like I'm pretty sure if we were in Toby Maguire's universe and it was just Toby, like fuck this shit.
Toby still looks like he's living that poor life.
Yeah,
he's like he's still living like his trying to survive while still being Spider-Man, while still trying to have some kind of relationship with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Adrian? I'll start with you. What do you think of the whole plot of them trying to save them, and would you do it?
I don't know, like,
because thinking about
it. Because if I'm trying to think about a different plot, like to the story, I can't think of anything else really. Because in the end, this was just to open up the multiverse.
I mean, this is such like a
to show you that it's real, and that now that we have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, that just opened up so many other doors.
Yeah. Right. And when you think about it, like Tom Holland's Spider-Man didn't have loss at this point. The other ones are like
the only loss he had was just Tony Stark.
Yeah, like they're struggling with loss, and then his whole thing is like, I can help you. It's because he doesn't know, like I personally, so I'll go first. I personally fuck them. Because think about it.
Honestly,
if you cure them and send them back, when they go back, what if they go back to where they were about to die? Like, would they? Would Doc Ock still drown? Is it before they drown? Because when they told him, it's like, oh, I remember I had the power of the sun, and then I forgot. Like, they would go back in that moment. But Electro would go back being in the database. Yeah. Like, would they still die? Like, that's the whole thing.
I mean, do you remember how the first Spider-Man ended? How Green Goblin said, oh, like, what if he was already good and he went back into that same moment? And
yeah,
he just
exactly.
Says, oh, because he just sees the glider coming right at him.
Exactly.
Even though he turned good right there at that very moment.
Thinking about it, curing them, like, there's a possibility they might still die. Now, there's the whole multiverse thing that, oh, he cured them, now another strain of the multiverse where, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I would not have cured them because, yes, like 5 cracks, 6 cracks, who cracks open. But that doesn't, and Doctor Strange said he stopped all the other ones, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that with time, more might come, and the longer you wait, the more influence they have on this universe, like, who knows what other stuff might get screwed up. So I would hit the button
we're gonna see that
and send it back, man.
Next Doctor Strange movie.
But then if I hit the button and send it back, then it'd only be like a 45-minute movie.
The end, there you
But
go.
what do you think about that?
I
do like the plot though. Them trying to cure, like, that's such like a Peter Parker.
I mean,
our current Peter Parker Spider-Man thing to do.
The one good thing that I really did like was seeing Doc Ock going back to his normal good self. I really actually enjoyed seeing him go good at the very close to the end.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, me personally, I think I would have helped him.
You would have helped him?
Yeah, because think about it. Although I would have changed the order of who I would have helped
I definitely
first.
would have done Sandman last. Sandman didn't give...
Yeah, Sandman didn't give 2 shits. I would have...
Dude, Sandman, throughout the whole film was like, I just want to go home. Why didn't you help Spider-Man?
Sandman as being a villain in this did not make any sense. Like, he's like, I just want to go home. I was like, okay, so help me cure the people so they can go home faster.
He's like, all right, bet, let's go. Yeah. But no, he just, when everything goes into chaos...
He's like, no, I don't trust anyone.
And then he
you guys got to remember, like, he's not all there. Like, his mental is like trashed.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not all there.
I mean, I think comic book wise, if he absorbs so much sand, he doesn't like think properly.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
like
acting like
in
a
the
monster
comics.
of
In the comics, he's like the sand messed with. Is like he's not all there. So I guess, but yeah, it's like what the. I mean, Electro's just like he licked his leg. He's like, I like
power.
That. I like that.
More power.
I would.
You would have
the order I would have gone with to help the people. I would have started with Goblin first, just so I wouldn't have to deal with the psychopathic bitch at the end. And then
who was super fucking strong.
Yeah,
I was like, the fuck, this guy's a fucking old man, and he dropped Peter down.
No, he has super strength.
I know, but the fact that he's like, let's go down. Goes down.
I mean,
all the way to the lobby floor.
I mean, it's also an interesting thing. It's like, does only his alter ego have super strength, or does he super strength the whole time? Because
True.
you know, it's like the
I
whole thing.
think
Anyway,
it's his
so
alter
you
ego.
want to start with Green Goblin?
I would have started with Green Goblin, then Electro's bitch ass, because he's just like he's eyeing that arc reactor. And if I was Spider-Man, I'd be like, okay, I'm helping you out
Bro,
first.
just
That
wrap
way
Electro in fucking duct tape.
We can.
Wait.
Doc Ock could have waited because he had Doc Ock under control.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would have definitely gone. Green
Yeah, but
Goblin
Doc Ock
first.
kind of didn't. Doc Ock help them make stuff.
After they cured him.
Yeah, so maybe.
Kinda, but
So and Sandman last.
Yeah.
How?
if you were able to keep him cool and
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your order then?
Oh,
Adrian?
and Lizard, obviously.
Oh yeah, we gotta get Lizard.
I would have put Lizard in the middle.
I would have left Lizard
Probably
in
the
the
third or
cage. I would
fourth.
have took it out. I was like, I don't trust this talking dinosaur. I would have left them in the cage and I was like, I'll be back.
Wait, you forgot about the sixth one, the tree.
The tree.
Yeah, the tree.
That
the tree.
tree.
My
The
bad.
six Sinister Six members, the tree guys.
tree.
Yeah.
But no,
What would be your order?
So like,
Honestly,
is this a tree monster? It's just a tree.
it's just a tree, man. It's just a tree. Honestly, I think I would start off with Goblin.
Well, I don't think Peter Parker knew Goblin was like an alter ego.
Probably.
He just told him he
Well,
he
Aunt May
said.
was telling him that's like he's not there. He was like he already told him like he's a little crazy. So what's
Yeah,
up?
but that doesn't mean he's for Green
I
Goblin
don't- if someone
crazy.
tells me, look, you better watch out for that guy. He's crazy as fuck. He's like, you sure? It's like, hell yeah. And I was like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't trust him.
did he tell him that he's the flying elf, the flying green elf?
Yeah,
He
did?
because
Okay.
he knew his name was Osborn, and he says like, you know him, and you called him from his name. I was like, yeah, Osborn. I was like, okay. And he even told him, I was like, oh, he died a few years ago, and he was the Green Goblin. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember.
So,
So,
he knew.
you
honestly,
would do Green
I
Goblin
would've gone
first.
Green Goblin first, and then Electro, and then honestly Doc Ock third, and then with Doc Ock I could speed it up with Lizard and Sandman.
True.
I think I would do Electro first because his thing takes the longest. So by the time I'm curing the other people,
at the end,
maybe
they
it'd be
just-
done.
They just shot it to him like it was a magnet.
Yeah,
They
but
like,
No, but it only had the last green mark, and I think because he was full Electro, it did it faster.
Maybe. Because
I
all I
would've-
saw, because when he threw it at him, it started from nothing and then went.
No, because it was fully green. It was fully green except for the last dot when he ripped it
Yeah,
off
true.
in the apartment. So I think I would have.
No, but the thing is, it was damaged and they had to make a new one.
I don't think they did.
They did make a new
They
one. Well,
did?
they used the same pieces, but it was damaged. Right?
Oh.
So
Yeah, they-
I don't think it had the energy still in there.
Okay.
They had to do.
So
the
obviously,
new
I think
one.
they just boosted it up.
Yeah.
I do think the mistake was definitely going with Doc Ock first. He
Yeah.
was contained. He's
'Cause-
without his he's just a dude. He's a smart dude. Like you
'Cause-
got a freaking. You have a taser that is a man. You have literally a sand guy. You have a guy that is not mentally stable and his alter ego's cracked.
Go with that one. He was the reason why everyone else went bad too.
Yeah.
Where these aren't curses, they're gifts.
And Electro's like,
And
Electro's like, yeah.
we are gods.
But
in this
gods
world.
don't need to beg.
Hey.
We take. And he's like,
And then,
Yeah,
like,
I think yeah, he definitely could have saved Lizard for later because it's not that Lizard's just like he's psycho, but he's not like an unstable psycho.
Yeah.
You know he's psycho, so we're chilling.
he knows what's going on. But let us know down in the comments section below. What list would you do like for the cure order? Like, would you put Doc Ock first? Like in the movie, would you
I
have
would've
put
been like Sandman.
Electro first? Would you have put Sandman first?
I think
But in regardless as to what order you do put him in, you do Goblin before you do Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, in the movie, Goblin was triggered when Ock was like, "Isn't this great, Norman? You're gonna become whole again." And then Goblin heard that, he's like, "The hell we are!"
I was like, how did you not hear his voice?
yeah, but he was like in the but he was
like
in
his
the
little Smeagol
Yeah.
from Lord of the Rings.
but I think it raises the question because it's like he's not in control, but he's in control because he's like I was watching from like back of
from
Norman's
weak guys.
from
Yeah.
Norman's cowardly eyes.
so I don't
It's like,
think the
what?
cure that he made because Aunt May hit him with one, and what he made a thing of three, so maybe you had to do like all
I
three
think it was
or
just
two.
a fake. It was a fake
antidote
or whatever.
That's why I think you would have needed Doc Ock earlier because can you really trust a mental unstable guy?
Either that or it might not have been done yet.
Yeah, even though he's somewhat of a scientist himself.
I'm sort of a scientist myself.
Can you really trust? Can you really trust?
That's the thing. That's why I want to get rid of him first because I don't think I would trust him.
Yeah, but Osborn was making his own cure. So how do you know if it would have worked anyways?
Who knows?
Because Peter was doing Doc Ock thing, and Osborn was making his own cure while he was doing Doc Ock's thing. So I think doing Doc Ock earlier, like maybe like second.
The thing is that you know how Spidey was like trying to get all of them, trying to fix all of them at the same time instead of doing it one by one. Mm-hmm. Like obviously, if he focused on one, which he did, which was Doc Ock, he obviously got it right. But after Doc Ock, he just started scattering his plans into all the other four,
which is kind of funny.
Which is funny because when at the last fight, they couldn't cure all of them at the same time. They had to do it one by one.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to get at there too.
That's what I'm trying to say. I was like, Peter just needed to focus on curing one at a time instead of one and then four at a time.
It was like it was one at a time, and that he couldn't do it alone.
Right.
Aunt May was there, but Aunt May was just there.
Aunt May was either giving water or she was doing I don't know if you remember. She was doing
because you're an octopus, salt or fresh water? I was like,
I started dying. I was like, oh my god.
And the octopus like, the fuck?
He was like, what? Which is weird that Aunt May was even there. Like, you have 5 criminals. Why did Peter tell Aunt May not to leave? Yeah. And then you got Happy like, so I saw you brought in some guy. What's the robot guy?
Like, what are you bringing, a cyborg and a mud guy into my apartment? What's up with that?
I liked the plot. It's kind of as expected, He wants to help everybody when some people just can't be helped. And Andrew and Toby are the ones that kind of know that.
But in the end, they were.
But in the end, Tom's like whole semi-naive ability of wanting to help them kind of made them help them, Yeah. Because Toby was like, "Oh yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while," and Andrew's like, "Yeah, I know how to make it. I just didn't do it."
No, he said for
the lizard, something like that.
The lizard, he already cured, but I think he just ends up dying in the first movie either way.
Yeah, something like that. It's like they knew how to help them, they just didn't,
Yeah.
And then Tom. So as much as they helped Tom, or I keep calling him Tom. As much as they helped Tom's Peter Parker, he also helped them, Because Andrew completely gave up on Peter Parker. He was only Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And Toby was more Peter Parker than Spider-Man, to be honest, or maybe equally. It's hard to say, but anyway, let's just get right into them. They're back, boys. Their entrances, which I will say, Andrew's entrance was way better than Toby's.
Yeah,
as that cool youth pastor.
Yeah.
When Andrew popped out, I was like, when you first see him when they opened the portal, I was like. That's not Tom Holland Peter Parker.
Yeah,
because he's taller. That's my first thought, and then you see his eyes, and I was like, his eyes look different too.
Yeah,
and then when he walked into
I walked in, I was like,
Andrew. There's no lie. They totally gave a minute or two of silence without saying anything, so that the fans could scream their brains out.
Yeah.
That was great.
I lost my lungs when that shit came. When both of my lungs were gone.
The whole theater was losing their minds.
Yeah, by the end of the film.
There was no Endgame, scream.
Nah.
I was honestly expecting it to be better than Endgame, but no, in the end, Endgame had the better praise, Scream.
Yeah.
Because I was like, nothing, I was like, damn, I was like, this was good, but... It was an Endgame.
Well,
Endgame when everyone comes back and fights, and I was like, it's no Endgame.
I mean, Endgame is the squad's back, but Spider-Man's the boys. The boys are back.
The boys are back.
And we didn't truly grow in Endgame. We didn't truly grow up with those people.
It's the thing is that
Andrew and Toby's is we watched them when we were really young. We grew up with them.
Yeah, and Endgame, it was just a nice finale, cinematic finale.
Yeah.
Or as you can say, a nice final fight.
Yeah.
So that gave it more of a hype boost. But when it came to Spider-Man, it gave us more of a like our childhood memorabilia excitement.
Definitely.
Because we grew up as kids. We grew up with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Then we started growing up to teenage years with Andrew Garfield, and then obviously now our adulthood years with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have another generation to like live through that. Unless they decide to like remake everything all over again with different characters.
Yeah.
But we're that part of that generation now where
just give up.
Just give up. He's gonna fall.
But we're that specific generation where we grew up 3 different parts of our life with 3 different heroes, which in the end we end up seeing them together.
Like think about it, like Captain America,
which we will never thought would have happened.
Yeah, like Spider's the one that has the most change within like the MCU so far. Like, like Captain America, there's only like Chris Evans. That's the only one. Robert Downey Jr. is the only Iron Man.
You're forgetting he was the Human Torch.
Yes, he was. Yeah. But we're not counting Fantastic. That doesn't exist.
Oh my god, that shit was funny.
Like Chris Hemsworth, he's the only Thor. Like, there's only one. Like,
not until Love and Thunder.
Yeah, like as a kid, as an adult, like that's Thor. Like that's Captain America.
That's Captain America. That's Thor. That's
Iron Man. But this Black one, it's like that's Spider-Man, that's Spider-Man, and that's Spider-Man.
Hold up, Hulk has 3. No, Hulk has like 4. If we're going back to like the 90s.
Yeah, but those were Universal's atrocities. So those don't count.
Not gonna lie, that early 2000s Hulk wasn't that bad actually.
Okay, that one.
Except the final fight. The final fight was just a little weird.
Yeah, it was.
But like him throughout the whole thing of just seeing Hulk smash through like military and all that shit, that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I used to have the PlayStation 2 video game based upon that game.
Oh wow.
That thing was really good and fun, but I remember back then I couldn't beat a certain level because you had to be Bruce Banner. And when you're Bruce Banner, because you play as Bruce Banner or the Hulk, and obviously when you're Bruce Banner, anything could kill you. But then when you're the Hulk, you're like slamming through everything.
Yeah.
And I always kept dying at one scene because I don't know if you remember the giant dogs in the Hulk movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were there in the game as security dogs. They use those. It was weird how they look. They just look like giant meat sacks with 4 legs and a giant head.
Graphics, man.
And the graphics back in PlayStation 2. And I just remember always like dying at that one scene where he had to like walk very quietly to get past the dog. And every time, no matter how quietly I did it, the dog will wake up and just kill me. So I was like, fuck this shit. I just remember I just like started running. And then all you had to do was run and then climb over something and then you're safe. And I was like, I could have done this the whole time. Yeah. And then I finished some game and I was like, wow, finally a game.
Some games were hard as hell as a kid. And then now that I'm older with cognitive thinking, I beat the game's ass.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't I think about this when I was younger?
Exactly.
But yeah, like, for the Spider-Mans, it's... Another thing to add is like, yes, with Human Torch, Chris Evans' Human Torch, but that doesn't really like matter anymore. All of these Spider-Man still matter, even though they're older films.
True, it's what people wanted.
They still hold the candles. When you watch a new Spider-Man movie, you still compare it to those. I mean, you don't compare it to Spider-Man 3, but we don't talk about that. But like, you still compare it to like some people still say Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man ever. Like that one still holds its weight, whereas other ones don't.
I honestly think this new one outranks Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
In my honest opinion.
Taking off the nostalgia goggles, it's still...
So yeah, now I think it's No Way Home, and then second is Spider-Man 2. And then if I have to go to the third one, Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Garfield's...
I liked Spider-Man Far From Home. I didn't think it was that bad.
I don't think it was like not bad either. I thought it was good. It's better than 1. The first, Homecoming. There we go.
Yeah, so like it was great to see them. They definitely left some time for us to scream our lungs out when they came.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Even Ned's aunt knew. She's just like, oh, he's just like. Oh, I know.
His little awkward high. He still does the little awkward high.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen if you rewatch the first and second one, he has like this. Toby Maguire has this awkward high.
Yeah, he does.
And then obviously the best part that I liked about this is that both those Spider-Mans had like some scenes from the first movies they came out in. So obviously you had Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man get his redemption of catching.
Gwen.
Well,
or
not Gwen,
MJ.
but MJ.
Yeah.
And then you have
Toby's thing. Remember when Toby fell off the horse before filming? He went on a horse ride and he injured his back for Spider-Man 2. And then they cracked his back. So that was like the whole thing of that.
The thing that made me think about his back pain was from Spider-Man 2 when he was trying to practice his powers again.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have his costume on.
Right.
He tried jumping off the building again. He just falls straight down and he lands like on a car. And then he like lands on the floor and he was like, "Oh, my back."
Maybe that's what they're referring to.
But the best part for Tobey Maguire was when he speaks to Doc Ock when he was like, "Oh, the power of the sun in my hand." Or when he says the power of the sun, and then Spider-Man just says like in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "How are you doing, Peter?" And he's like trying to do
better.
better.
Yeah, because
that's what he tells
exactly.
And I was like, damn. I was like, that gave me flashbacks. And I was like, that was beautiful.
One thing I think this movie did like perfectly is they introduced Andrew and Toby, but they didn't overwhelmingly like take over the film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they had things from the OG movies like that. They had, the I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. Like they had things where you're like, I remember when he said that when I was, when I was a little kid watching the movies. But like they didn't take over. Like they went in there as like mentors and they left as mentors and as like brothers.
In the end, I always wanted brothers. I was like, no, that's adorable.
Yeah. So let's get right into Andrew and Toby's like helping Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man, like helping him mature, like Tom Holland's.
Basically,
that's what this film was.
They were just at the beginning. They were there to tell him was like, yo, I know this just happened to you, but we're also Spider-Man, and this is what happened to us. This was like our perspective, because he told us like, don't tell me that you know what I'm feeling. I was like, well, they kind of do.
Yeah,
they're Spider-Man, and they've lost someone too. Some people have lost everyone already, and I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is already by himself, and because I'm pretty sure Aunt May is dead already.
Yeah, and I mean it was kind of like Tom Holland's Spider-Man kind of had a double whammy. He had his first mentor die, Tony, and then I'm sure he was still in the back of his mind dealing with that, and then his Aunt May dies. And if NJ died too, oh my god, dude.
That would have been there we go. I was like, damn, he lost everything.
Everybody.
Yeah, but
in the end, he still kind of does. He kind of did, but not like lose. He can still see these people.
Yeah, exactly.
And literally, as they came, was right at not obviously not right, but probably just a little bit after Aunt May died, and because as of right now, I still count Tom Holland's Spider-Man as like the green Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and Toby's like the old vet, Andrew's like the mature one now, and then Toby's like the green.
But at the same time, if you look at it like Marvel's point of view, you still have Tom Holland being the kid Spider-Man, then you have Andrew Garfield being the middle-aged Spider-Man, and then you have old man Tobey Maguire Spider-Man being the old Spider-Man. So you have like the past, not the past, or the present, middle, and present, beginning, and end. There we go. But in different universes.
Yeah, what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say because you so rudely skipped me.
That wasn't me.
On my thoughts and the OGs coming back, but no.
Well, say that too.
Yeah, fine. I have teammates because y'all know I play baseball. I have teammates that they would go as little kids home from school and watch Spider-Man. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man as kids every day after school. You all know who you are, who I'm talking about. But just that nostalgia feeling that they brought back to this movie made you feel like a little kid again.
Exactly.
And that's what I felt like, and it just brought pure joy to my heart when I saw them on screen for the first time, and I was screaming my lungs out, yelling my head off. When Andrew went to go get MJ, I was like, "Go get her, Andrew! Go get her!" And then when he got her, it was like, "Yeah!"
he did it in Weber. He actually caught it instead.
And when all three of them did like their unique pose.
Oh yeah, when they all like had the, I was like, "There's the money shot." When all of them land on top,
the money shot,
the money shot right there. And I was like, that was the best part. Like
but,
you saw your childhood, your teenage, and then now your adult Spider-Man.
Yeah, literally.
Mm-hmm. And then
all in one film.
And then at the end of the movie, when they were kind of like discombobulated and everything like that, when they were fighting the villains at first, they were like, I don't know how to work as a team. Me neither. And then, and then Tom's Peter was like, oh, I do. Like I don't want to brag, but I will. I was part of the Avengers. And then Toby's like, that's great. What is that?
Andrew's like, is that a band? Can we be in a band?
Are you in a band?
I was like
and
that made me think of Punk Rock Spider-Man.
Yeah.
At that very moment. But yeah, that was funny.
But then, like, Tom's Spider-Man taught Toby and Andrew how to work as a team.
Yeah, like they all learned from each other.
Yeah, it came full circle and everything like that. So, like, yeah, the teaching mainly came from Toby and Andrew, but in the end, it was Tom that taught them how to work as a unit. You know?
Yeah, like, so a lot of people thought, going into this film, you thought, Toby and Andrew are just going to be teaching Tom Spider-Man. But, like, he taught them a few things as well, and that's, like, some things that people tend to gloss over because of nostalgia goggles. And that's, like, a good point. And to add on to that, like, it also showed, like, Tom Spider-Man's evolution, because he was your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Then he was, then he had to become essentially part of the Avengers. He was the Avengers Spider-Man, and now he's back in form as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah. He had the OG costume and everything, which, by the way, that was awesome.
That was great. Seeing the original costume again, I was like, can't wait to see it. I was like, I can't wait to see this costume in the whole movie. Next movie.
Yeah, me too. Me either. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and it's like they all came out with something. Like Tom taught them how to be part of a team. Toby taught them that, like, he was kind of like that grandpa Spider-Man, teaching them.
Old man Spider-Man.
Andrew learned that, he learned, like, remorse again. Remember, he's like, there's one point I just stopped pulling my punches. But now that he cured, he helped Electro, he cured the Lizard, like, now he's, as you could say, like, now he's Spider-Man again, because before he was kind of just on, like, a war path.
Yeah.
Any evil, he would just try to eradicate it.
Yeah, he'd just kill him.
And who knows, if they do, which for the love of God, Amazing Spider-Man 3, out of everyone he deserves a movie, we will probably see that change,
Yeah.
And,
it probably starts him with being, like, back teleported into this world.
Honestly.
I was like, alright. And I was like, well, that was fun.
Watch him be like...
and then he meets MJ.
And he meets MJ. Yeah, that's
his
MJ.
Yeah.
And also, Andrew, also to that, like, Andrew, he stopped being Peter Parker. Like, his Spider-Man, he only started being Spider-Man. He gave up on being Peter because he thought, the love of my life's dead, I'm done. But they kind of showed him, it's like, there's a soulmate for you. You just got to go find her.
Exactly. Like, you haven't met your MJ yet, but she's out there.
Exactly.
Even though he said Gwen was like his MJ, and I was like, no. Little do you know, you have two.
Yeah, you're just balling. And then I also like the little kinks. It's like, wait, what? Your webs just come out of you?
Yeah.
Dude, that was the best. I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
And it was like, web shooters, what are those? And I was like,
those
from my webs.
What do you mean one of those? He's like, and then he just shoots it out of his wrist. He's like, did that just come out of you?
He's like, does it come out of anywhere else?
Like, you guys can't do that. Like, his face was like, you guys can't do that. And it just made me, I was like, that's great. I was like, and then they have a whole other conversation about that in the final scene.
Yeah, this is like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like
like I don't do breathing.
I don't do breathing. It just comes naturally to me.
That's the same thing with his weapon, yeah. That was great, and I was like, wow, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also what I would have liked is like, the song Spidey Bells. That would have been funny. It came out in December. They should have done like something like that. Like even in the end credits song, like Spidey Bell, like they could have done something with that.
Yeah,
Missed opportunity,
that
Marvel.
Funny.
Yes, because it was literally based off around Christmas.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was hoping he would like have some appearance in Hawkeye in the last episode.
Yeah.
Because then it was just to like
Spoilers
just a
for
small
Hawkeye.
pebbles. Spoilers for Hawkeye. Like,
What-
no, not really. Because in the end, I just thought since it was taking place in Christmas, and literally Spider-Man jumps out of the building and swings in front of that giant tree in the final fight of Hawkeye, and I was like, a nice appearance would have been fun.
Listen, man, he was going through a lot, man. Let him eat his hot Cheetos and make his costume while all that's going on.
If you haven't seen Hawkeye, you know what's that moving company? The Mafia guys, the tracksuits. What's their company called?
Trust a bro.
Trust a bro, right?
Yeah.
If there's a scene where the two bros are talking in the thing, and if you look closely on the window in the front inside, there's a coffee mug from MJ's coffee shop right there. And that,
Yes, there is.
that episode
you're right.
before the movie even came out. So I remember I saw the movie, and then after I went to my friend's house, and she was making me watch Hawkeye. I was like, "You haven't seen Hawkeye?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "I haven't time." I was like, "All right, we're gonna watch it."
Just
And
binge
she caught
it.
me. Yeah, she caught me up to pace, and then I was like, "That cup looks familiar." And I told her, "Pause, rewind." And I was like, "That's Andre's coffee shop." And I was like, "Oh, no one's talking about this." Ah! I was like so hyped. And then someone finally tweeted it like a few days ago, and I was like, and then my friend sent it to me. It's like, "Look, we thought of this." I was like, "Of course,
Of course.
The fuck?"
Yeah, but I mean, it was definitely like Toby was definitely like he was like sort of almost like the complete Spider-Man. Like he didn't really have like he settled all his shit already.
Yeah,
he had all of his shit together.
He has a relationship. He's just basically living. He finally found the way how to live as Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And without like revealing his identity, because he's still basically in his universe. No one knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man there yet.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for years now. So that
Yeah, Andrew, was full rage mode, and I get he talked about that and how he was slowly coming back. But I think like the bros really like nailed it in. That's like you're not alone anymore.
Now
like,
there's more of us.
Right? Because
Yeah.
Tom Holland's Peter Parker and Spider-Man, like he was struggling between the two. He's like, oh yeah, we can go to MIT. I'll still Spider-Man there. Like he was still trying
There's
to.
crime in Boston.
Yeah, there's crime in
There's
Boston.
crime in Boston, right?
There's
hella crime in Boston.
There's hella crime in Boston.
Yeah, there was definitely crime in Boston. Like he was struggling with those two, and that's what kind of almost led to that's what led to his downfall at the beginning of the film. And now he's learned to accept both roles. And Toby essentially, I'm sure they helped Toby out, but he helped both of them out.
Yeah.
But anyways, like we roughly talk about it, the return of the OG costume, and just the whole ending of that. Everyone forgot. Like, would you have told his MJ? Because that's like his soulmate and Ned. Would you have told them?
He just decides not to tell him because he saw
the cut on her, and he's like, I don't want them to get hurt again.
Yeah, basically that's him saying, "I was like, I don't want them to get hurt again. It's safer if they don't know I'm Spider-Man and just solo."
There's no way they're not coming back. Like,
maybe
in the next film they'll be around.
Obviously, he's gonna reconnect to these characters. We might not know since he didn't friend up Ned again. He might become Hobgoblin. You never know.
Maybe.
So
But
since this movie ended, that's a whole new end of an era again. Now we're just with the next movie. It's just whatever could happen next. Anything could happen now for Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was like the reboot.
It was a small little reboot. Something to show us. Honestly, this whole multiverse thing was to open up more doors, and then at the end, it's to also show what Doctor Strange is going to be facing now.
Yeah, who knows? Does he work for the Daily Bugle? Does he work for Stark Industries? He's smart enough.
Does he make Peter Industries?
And remember, even though Happy didn't remember him, he still met Happy throughout May in a way. So maybe because they were both at the graveyard.
Just at the graveyard. That's how they met up. That's how they officially.
Yeah, but he could be like, "Remember me?" We both know. Like, he could still kind of have a connect.
They might not. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, exactly like.
Yeah.
Like I said, the possibilities.
Exactly.
There's a lot of openings.
Like,
plus, I will say this about MJ though. I love their chemistry. Yeah, as you can tell from my eyes, yes, I love it so much. But either way, there's still, even when she had her mind completely wiped, there was still that chemistry there.
Definitely
between them.
Oh yeah.
And like you could,
and if anything, she might figure it out all over again.
Yeah, because remember
like she said, she's like, I'm gonna figure it out all over again.
If you don't tell me, I'll just figure it out anyways.
Yeah, I did it once, I can do it again.
Yeah, basically.
But Zendaya and Tom, they just have the perfect chemistry, like between the couples of the three. I just love them so much.
Listen, also Toby's MJ's fucked. If we're voting, even though Andrew Garfield's MJ hasn't even occurred, she's the worst. Yeah. I'll say it right now. We grew up with her as a kid, and she sucks.
Oh my god, you know too much.
But but to that point, you know, how the second one ended. We knew how the third one was possibly going to start. He got ratted out. At the end of this one, we don't know what's going to happen next outside of seeing the little Venom sperm.
And Daredevil confirmed.
And Daredevil. Too. That was awesome.
That was great. Just seeing him in general, I was like, that was great.
And like, J. Jonah Jameson being J. Jonah Jameson. Like,
they did say he had another scene in the movie, but they cut it off.
I would like to see it.
Because they had so many reshoots and everything. So we might see these
deleted
scenes.
Drop a 4-hour Spider-Man movie. You act like I ain't gonna watch it.
You act like we didn't go through a 3-hour movie. Yeah. Give us a 4-hour Spider-Man movie. Say I won't sit down for that.
For real. Publish a no cut. I would like, even if it doesn't really make too much sense, I don't give a shit. I want to see it anyways.
I'll see it all.
I'll watch it all. For Spider-Man, I will watch it all.
And thank God, like that really shows like Daredevil, you know, they took something out of the Netflix show.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, let's be honest, out of all of them, Daredevil's the one I want to see. Maybe the Punisher, that'd be good. I think Luke Cage would be okay.
I want to see
Jessica Jones.
I have not seen all of them, just Daredevil, and then a little bit of Defenders, but I didn't, and a little bit of Iron Fist, but I did not like Iron Fist.
I think they could do better with Iron Fist.
Well, Iron Fist.
No offense to that actor, but I think they could do better with
Iron Fist had a lot of issues, but they still made it anyway. I think they could have made his glowing fist cooler. But anyways, I'm glad Daredevil's in the MCU now. Like, that confirms it, essentially. And, you know, the whole thing, that's really all they needed to do with him. Him just, like, catch him. He's like, how'd you do that? He's like, I'm a good lawyer.
Yeah, I'm a good lawyer.
That's all they had to do.
Good lawyer.
That's all they had to do, because people that have seen the TV show Daredevil know what he's capable of. Yeah. And when we see more of it, like, maybe he's going to be a part of the next Avengers. I assume this is what they're building up with Shang-Chi and, you know, I maybe Yelena join. Like, I assume this is what they're building up for.
Let's hope so. Well, I guess we'll see, because now, you know, they're adding more characters.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know, Captain Marvel. I assume they have some sort of a team being formed, but it won't be until there's a big threat for it to actually come together.
Or a bigger group now, because, you know.
Exactly. Like, who knows what's going to happen.
Because it started with, what, 6 characters for Avengers?
Give or take.
Captain America, Iron Man,
6.
Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, Thor has kind of joined the Asgardians, but who knows? You know, if Earth needs help, he'll show up. He could technically still be kind of part of the Avengers.
Who knows?
Thor just is doing whatever Thor wants. He didn't want to have to deal with these people, so he put Valkyrie as queen because he didn't want to deal with that shit. He just wanted to go fuck around with his new axe, his new toy.
Yeah, new toy. Yeah, he just wanted to go explore, basically.
But anyways, let's get, you know, Venom. That's another thing I was disappointed
in the MCU. Finally, that first credit scene.
In the end credit scene of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, they showed him in the MCU, and I had really a lot of hopes. And of course, he'd be in Spider-Man, because where else would he be? Why, you know? Just
for him to have a recap of what happened, of who's around, and then just to him go back to his universe. That's it.
Yeah, I think that was a missed opportunity.
That was a missed opportunity. I mean, they left one thing. He left the drop of the Venom symbiote,
which I don't understand how that even happened.
Yeah, I don't understand either. Like,
because how Carnage was formed.
Did he just cut a piece off right before he teleported?
Yeah, did he cut his finger on?
But at the same time, wouldn't that piece teleported with him? Like, because so many questions.
Yeah, I mean,
or did he start making a symbiote to like live in that universe on its own? Maybe that's what he did, but I'm not sure.
It doesn't make. I'm disappointed.
Even then, like, even Venom says like, Eddie, we are drunk. like, let's go find him, and then
let's go skinny dipping.
Let's go skinny dipping. Like, no, I'm not gonna go skinny dipping. Hey, senor, you have to pay your tab. And then he just disappears.
Yeah, no, I just got here.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense of why Venom was, other than dropping the symbiote.
Yeah, like,
there was no point for him to be there.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because
I
got so much hype after the end credit scene after Venom 2, and I was like,
did too.
He's right there. Like
we were conspiring. We were conspiring. It's like maybe he'd fight.
Out.
It's like did he fight? He would fight Spider-Man, and then they'd realize he's not bad, and then he'd help him defeat the others. Like
I will have a major problem. I will say this: I will have a major problem if the Venom symbiote goes to this MCU Flash, and
yes,
he becomes Venom. I will be like, why?
Agent Venom?
Agent
Venom?
I don't think that. It's just.
I think either Venom's gonna find somebody else and they're gonna cast a new Venom, or
a new Eddie Brock, for that universe.
Yeah, or
I don't like that.
This symbiote is gonna find Tom.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna try to do a redemption of Spider-Man 3 type beat.
Probably, but we'll see. Like I said, that's just basically.
I'm sure that's what the next Spider-Man movie might be about. However, I don't like how that occurred. I think it was a missed opportunity. I think Eddie being in the MCU would be awesome.
Honestly, it was. But at the same time, that's what I was expecting. I was like, when we were watching the whole film and then the credits, and I was like, wait, what about Venom? What happened? And then obviously I was a little disappointed that they waited to show Venom as an after credit scene. Or mid credit scene.
I knew it was going to be a end credit scene and not in the movie, but I think I wanted Eddie to be in the MCU because that would have been hilarious.
That would have been funny.
Him and Venom. Oh God.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest. Like, if you can put a negative on this movie, for me that might be it.
Yeah.
Everything was spot on. It was just, I just feel like it was a missed opportunity. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why he dropped his Venom.
And I feel like, and then the after credit scene being basically a trailer of Doctor Strange, I was like, in all honesty, you didn't even need to put that here. You could have honestly just put it right when the day of the movie came out. And then you could have put something else as the after credit scene. Like announcing a new character or what's happening with Spider-Man now, or just one more scene for Spider-Man. But that's what I thought they could have done for the after credit scene.
Yeah, but they were super mysterious on this movie, so I feel like they'd be super mysterious.
I was just a little disappointed for the after credit scenes. After credit
it's not that I didn't like it. It's just they could have just dropped it as a regular trailer. It didn't have to be in the movie.
Yeah. But one last question before we get to the final ratings. Who do you guys think is going to be the next villain in the movie?
Yeah, that was
what,
a good question.
Spider-Man or just for MCU?
No, for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Because
I have a couple ideas, but I want to know.
I actually can't think of anyone.
So here's what I'm thinking.
Kraven the Hunter, because they wanted.
I would love Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven would be great,
but that's not. But he's gonna be probably in either Andrew Garfield's universe or Venom's universe.
I don't care. I want to see him.
Universe.
I don't care. I want to see him.
Well, I know why you want to see him.
He's freaking awesome.
Well, I know one of the reasons why you want to see him.
I want to see him. Probably Rhino. I mean, let's think about this.
As long as he's not mechanical, the Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh God,
I'll be fine.
Better not.
But if it's mechanical, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, that's disappointing. Rocket launchers, everything, just a giant rhino.
Because I don't think the Venom symbiote is enough of a thing for it to be the main villain. Yeah. I think it's just an obstacle. Maybe he coincides with it. Maybe it takes over someone else, and that someone else just helps him or whatever, ends up helping him. Who knows? I don't think it's
MCU,
big enough to be a villain.
I know. For Spider-Man MCU, it's just I feel like the next one that could possibly come out will probably be Scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I feel like he might just be a minor villain. And we might get Shocker.
Maybe it's Morbius.
But Morbius, we don't even know what universe Morbius.
Oh yeah, Morbius is in the
somehow in that trailer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's just playing as a different character.
Because they have the Oscorp,
I don't think so.
They have the Oscorp
and they also have Oscorp
in Andrew's universe.
Yeah.
That building, and then Vulture from Tom's. So we don't know.
And Morbius knows about Venom.
Yeah, exactly.
As public defender.
And that's what I think the best thing about this movie is. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen now.
Yeah.
Literally anything could happen. Who do you think the villain's gonna be?
One of two people. and you both said it. I think it's either going to be Rhino
Probably.
or Scorpion.
Definitely.
One of the two.
Well, because
if anything, they'll just mash up 3 characters again. Like they'll mash them both, or maybe 3. Like if they make another one, and I feel like it might be 3 people. I feel like it'll be Shocker, Rhino, and Scorpion.
Maybe.
And if not,
or it could be Scorpion, Rhino, and the Venom symbiote.
true.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see. Honestly,
Because if you think
'Cause
about it,
Kraven and Rhino were like the silhouette type beat, when he was closing the universes.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that there's not one in this universe. And Scorpion's already established.
Craven was in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the
I
one
didn't
holding
see
like a
it.
spear.
Yeah, that was the one holding the spear.
Oh, I know.
There was a female body figure that I couldn't.
I
figure out.
couldn't quite make
like,
it out.
I-
That's the
it-
type
it
of thing
might
where
be
you
Black
buy the
Cat.
movie and you
Black Cat.
Black
maybe.
Cat. That's
Yeah.
the only female
But-
character. Or Silk and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But-
you never know.
Yeah, like with the fabric tearing thing, you saw Scorpion, and
You saw-
apparently Craven was in there.
Yeah,
and then
Kraven,
the second
Rhino.
one, you definitely saw Rhino
Yeah.
in there. But
That's that. But I don't think they would. What's the point of dropping Scorpion so long ago if he doesn't come back? I think Scorpion's a good person, or maybe
could be
Scorpion and
Kingpin.
Rhino,
Kingpin.
Or-
Kingpin is
Kingpin.
MCU now too.
Kingpin.
I forgot about that.
That's a good one.
one. Kingpin confirmed.
That's a good one. So that's the yeah, and who knows? Like maybe.
yeah, we're speculating. Who knows at this point?
And we technically didn't get a Sinister Six. There was only 5 of them.
The Cinco Amigos.
Oh no, there was yeah. I mean the tree.
The tree.
Yeah, the
Tree was
trees
the sixth one.
was the most sinister of the 6.
And who knows? Is Mysterio dead? Who really knows? Because who really knows?
Who really knows? Exactly.
Vulture could come around again, which I
Vulture's
doubt.
alive, so he can get out of jail.
Yeah, that's what I think. Maybe it'll be, or maybe not the next one, but maybe the next one when he evolves even more as Spider-Man.
Maybe.
Could be a Sinister Six.
Time will tell.
Who really knows?
Yeah.
With that all discussed, let's get into our final ratings.
Final
now.
ratings, boys.
Buy-worthy. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, buy-worthy. Watch it again. Honestly.
And one quick thing. It's like, do you think we're gonna see Amazing Spider-Man 3? I think.
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Really do hope so.
I really do too.
They better not slack on that. They saw how much we loved Andrew Garfield in that movie.
This was definitely his redemption. This shows that it wasn't really him.
I mean, they weren't that bad either. Like
They
first two
definitely
movies,
weren't.
They weren't that bad.
They weren't
They've
horrible.
been better. Yes, but were they the worst? No. But now with this, I seeing him again, I was like, dude, this is a really good, worthy Spider-Man character that needs to have another movie.
Yeah, because before it was just the debate of Toby versus Tom, and Andrew was just there.
Andrew was just there. Like, honestly,
Now it's like, now he has an argumentative case.
yeah, like he's not my favorite Spider-Man, to be honest. Like, he's like, there's only 3, so he's like my third. Obviously, Peter 3.
Yeah.
But
Peter 3!
But it doesn't mean he was the worst one. Like, it doesn't mean that he had the worst movies. He had the best arc of the whole depression, the dark humor, all that. Like, he went through the most negative storyline ever.
Yeah.
He lost, he watched the person he loved die. Well, watched her die, and then just die.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. He's one of the
Let
best
Andrew
Spider-Man.
fight an alien, for the
Let
love of
Andrew
God.
fight an alien.
Let Andrew fight an alien.
Thanos pops out of nowhere. He's like, not that alien.
Yeah.
He's like, Tom warned me, or he's like, Peter warned me about you.
Oh god.
And I remember when I went to go see it the second time with my brother, and I was like, "You see this? You're never gonna see this in cinema history ever again. These 3 Spider-Mans.
Who knows?
I was like, but who knows? Maybe in
I
another
think
10
out of
years or
anyone,
so.
maybe Andrew might come again to help him out.
Well, they've been secretly planning a Secret War, so I was like, maybe that's when we'll see them again.
Maybe.
And then they also Electro was like, I thought you were black. Miles
Oh,
Miles
Miles Morales. Oh, yes.
I personally think Miles Morales is a long way from now.
Yeah.
They
There's a
have him in the
possibility, but it's a long
Spideyverse.
way, yeah.
They're keeping him in the Spideyverse, but I think an actual actor, I think they got a long time before that because Tom's so young.
Yeah.
And he's only all the other Spider-Mans did have 3 and 2 movies, but it seems like they're set on him being Spider-Man for now. And I think introducing Miles Morales, while that would be awesome, I feel like they're kind of saving that And they could do Spider-Gwen too. Like
There's just infinite possibility.
Exactly.
So in the end, we just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and with my rating, I will buy it, and dare I say, this is honestly the best movie I've ever seen in my life. On the record, right now, best movie I've ever seen in my life.
Best hero movie or best movie? Ever?
Movie.
Ooh,
I don't know about that.
I think Infinity War is better than this.
I think Endgame was
No, this was way better to me, honestly. And I will have have predictions for this. Obviously, Tom's going to be the MCU version of Spider-Man. Andrew's going to be the Sony version of Spider-Man.